So, Shaun, you've taken over the program, and you've been in place for quite a while now. When did you come in?
January.
So you've had quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
Does it feel like you've got a program sort of established here and a routine and all that?
Probably a little faster than I thought I would, coming in and taking over a program and a 4-year program at that, right? It's you want to be able to hit the ground running, but at the same time, that there's a lot of patience that goes into it. It's a process, but I definitely feel like, first off, I'm really appreciative of the search committee and Brooke Cushman, because the speediness at which they hired was just instrumental in that. Because had that not happened, it could have been February, it could have been March. I mean, it definitely could have been extended, and I just think that where we are now is definitely representative of how fast that hiring process went. And so definitely appreciative of being here and establishing some things and standards that I believe in or have tried to acquire through the experience of the last 11 years in college coaching. So,
your program, what is kind of your philosophy?
I'm very much the individual and the whole individual. So I'm trying to do what I can to take care of, like, when people come in, I want them to be able to say, Coach believes in me in all on all aspects of life, life, school, sport, and that type of thing. And so I kind of approach it more of, I'm going to take care of the people who are going to take care of the job. And I'm a big Simon Sinek believer. He's a very well-known speaker, and he talks a lot about take care of your people who take care of the job, and that's definitely my philosophy.
This team, off the top of your head, do you know how many players were here last year and how many newcomers?
Yeah, definitely. There's 8 returners from last year's team, and we have 9 new players from this year.
I guess it probably helps to have returners, but everybody's on a new page this year. So
yeah.
How does everybody seem to be coming together? You guys, when did you first really start working together?
I think that the first thing that we did was, I recognized that the returners and I had to get on the same page, and so we spent a lot of spring doing that and making sure that we were connecting. And I'll leave it up to these two to kind of maybe elaborate on whether that was a good thing or whether that was kind of a waste of time.
This spring, yeah, like you said, we spent a ton of time together. We spent a ton of time as a team too, trying to beef out some stuff. But overall, like, every idea that he had, we were all on board for it, and from that, we all got so much closer. And we realized that, we can't just keep doing our old stuff because that didn't seem to be working. And so, yeah, just making sure we were accepting of these new philosophies and working together to achieve them has been huge. And overall, we've seen massive improvement within our team chemistry. So,
kind of with that, even though we are, all of us are on a new page in a sense with the new coach coming in and taking over the program, with the returners being on the same page for the new people coming in, even though it's still new, but having that core group together, like we worked on all spring, really helps the 9 new people coming in make sure that we're all merging together on that new program. And it's been, if we wouldn't have done that in spring, we wouldn't be anything where we're at, and it's awesome.
Shaun, for people that aren't maybe familiar with philosophies offensively, defensively, how is it different from what was here before with Coach Harris?
My biggest thing, and I'm not sure it's specific to a predecessor or even a Jen Greeny or a Kip or something like that. I just I think that it is just different in general, and so for me, I kind of attack it in this game has 2 parts that I think are most important intrinsically. me doing my job requires me to trust that someone else is going to finish it. And almost every skill, the serve is the only one where it starts with me and it ends with me. That's the only skill. But passing is, I let it go, and now it's the setter's job, and then it's the setter's job to the hitter job. And so, you know, that kind of that understanding of the game itself requires that one person can't just take over. We really have to make sure that we're, you know, that we're all on the same page and understanding, you know, those philosophies. And then the second part to that, maybe more, you know, skill-based and whatnot, would be, I'm very big on vision training. We've got these goggles that the team, I'll say they love them because they make them better, but the reality is it actually makes them worse. And then they have to learn how to get better by being worse, if that makes sense. And so what it does is it blinds out their vision, but it gives them a little vision, and then it blinds them again, and they have to process the play much faster, as opposed to, now they don't wear them 24/7, you know, there's no benefit. I don't know that there's a great big benefit to that, but it definitely gets them paying attention to things. And so my philosophy that I think is very, very different than most coaches is that I talk a ton about what we see. Every practice. If I don't see the right things, then I'm a play behind, or I'm half a play behind. And how many times have we been like, oh, just one more step, if I would just had one more step. Well, that one more step is what we see, so.
So how do these work, these goggles?
Yeah, there's a company over in Portland, Vima, and they've designed them. They're LCD screen, basically, that it's opaque, and then it kind of shuts off, so the light, and then I can attach it to my cell phone, so I can mess with them from my cell phone, basically. But the other day we were using them, and we had the server serving, and I shut the glasses or their vision off, basically, when the ball just barely left their hand, and they had to go touch the ball. You know, they got 900 square feet. It was just one person, and every single person touched the ball after our vision training was done with. I wish I had the foresight to do that beforehand to see how bad we were with it, but unfortunately I didn't. But yeah, they go on like goggles, and they're on a timer, and there's speeds, and it'll take away your vision faster, and sometimes it'll be slower.
Is this something that's new technology? Were you using this before you got here?
I discovered it actually in 2013 and said, I have to have these. So I've been on the search about once a month going, where can I, they're strobe goggles really, and I just kept searching and searching, and finally, about a year and a half ago, I find this Vima, and I reach out to them and I said, I see they're not at market yet, I want to be your first, I want to be the first person that gets these type of thing.
They have the goggles on and they serve,
yeah,
and then their vision, and then after that, do you do a return, or you mean?
I'll let them kind of explain, maybe.
So mainly how we start off with it is we do a drill called throw top float, and that just goes from getting our platform warmed up, our dismounts warmed up, everything to do with passing in sections we kind of warm up. So usually we'll get about 16 balls, and we'll do 4 with the goggles on, 4 with the goggles off, kind of getting a training. So coach will have it set, during this time we'll have it just set on like a blinking. So it's like it blinks, takes our vision, comes back. So it's kind of just a steady blink, and it goes just on and off. And so you're tracking when he's saying, like, what do you see? Okay, is the ball behind them? So is the ball going to go a little deeper? Or is it, if their hands out, are they going to tip? And like, you're kind of getting these micro cues that the server, the hitter, is going to be giving you, so then you can process that information and see what they're doing almost before their body does it, in a sense, because they're giving you those cues to do it. So when you take those goggles away, your vision's never blocked. So then you see it earlier. If that makes sense.
And what's the effect? What would you say the effect is, I guess?
Oh, I mean, I could just say from the beginning when we first started vision and wearing those goggles, I took a lot of balls to the face. And now that we've learned this and like our vision has improved, it's much better. Other days where we still just aren't following what we see, for sure. But after the work, our passing and everything has improved dramatically.
So it sounds like it's really going to help you anticipate without them in a live game scenario,
Right.
you're going to kind of have a better idea of where the ball's going to go before it's even
That's
struck.
the goal, yeah. It'd be like blinking a bunch of times like this, you know, but then you're focusing on blinking and not on passing, so can't really do both that. They're totally worth it, for sure.
What was your impression of him, George?
It's just all about trusting yourself. I mean, within that first couple, when he blocks it out from the 10-foot line, not on our side, it's just like within those first couple like seconds, we can see everything we need to know before the ball is even across the net. And so if you trust yourself enough and like are really like bought in on what you see, then it's really easier than we're making it sound. Like,
Just not at first.
Yeah, just not at first, but it's until you can like trust yourself and you're not afraid that it's gonna hit you in the face or like in the back or something like that, then, you know, I don't know, it's just, yeah, they're odd, but I think it's made huge improvements in all of our passing and just like within, yeah, I just feel so much more confident in like my ability to pass. So.
This is, do you have any other unusual training methods, Shaun?
I do, yeah. I'm a Swiss Army knife, really. Like, you know, sometimes you just have to be creative. And, you know, my background when I started 11 years ago was, you know, at just the smallest, most, I don't know what you want to call it, like, nobody knows you, you don't matter. And so you have to matter for yourself, and what you do has to matter for yourself. And so, you know, sometimes you have to just have that ingenuity to like create new things for yourself. And I know that like I don't have one that's coming off the top of my head, maybe they do, but sometimes I'll bring something out and they'll just be like, oh no, another idea, you know, like, and it's like, well, maybe this one won't work. I remember in the spring one time, so passing is a lot about the ball going one way and sending it another, and we make it more complicated than it really is. And I don't know if you've ever seen those like little pointer sticks. They have like the long tube with a hand in the end, and you use it to kind of like point and stuff. So I bust that out and I kind of show them your platform, and I held it right here, and it showed like where the ball was going to go. And then just they busted up laughing. You know, they're just like, I can't believe that we're looking at pointer sticks right now and stuff like that. But it does make sense. So
That yoga ball one's a pretty unique one.
yoga ball.
The plyo
Oh,
ball.
yeah. Where they have to hold a plyo ball and they have to pass a ball with a ball. So it's kind of like baseball, right? You got a round thing hitting a round thing, and you better be a little bit better at it, and be a little more accurate, so to speak. Yeah.
So is this mostly just to keep things interesting, or?
I don't think it's a gimmick. I don't do I don't do things for gimmick. But as far as interesting in terms of, I think getting better is boring, if I'm quite honest, because it's monotonous. It's the same thing every day. And if you can bring just one small thing that changes it up just a little bit, you can usually go back to the original thing and make your point. Because it's like you're trying to make the same point on both, but you go through and it's just rep, and then you bring this thing on and they're like, oh, I see what the point of this drill is, and then you go back and it's not as monotonous as what it usually is.
It sounds like it's fun.
Yeah.
Are you guys having more fun practicing?
Yes, and I think that on top of fun, I think that all these tools we have are making us better that much faster. I think that, you know, we can do as many reps without goggles as we want, but then we're not as focused on vision as we are on our feet maybe, or on our arms. And so I think that all of his tools that he has are for a specific reason, and once you're bought into learning about that specific reason, your game just goes through the roof.
Well, Shaun, I wonder if you could kind of, have you kind of established some roles? Like, do you know who's going to start for you to begin with?
These guys have, it's a very good thing, I think, when you're sitting and you hear, a senior who's been here for 4 years, is the only one, that's this one right here, that's been here for 4 years, say, we all got to work for our spots this year. And it's a senior that's been here 4 years who's not entitled to that spot. And that, I think, is a good thing in terms of, the recruits that we've brought in to accomplish what we want to accomplish. And, I just think that my point being, to answer your question, I'm going to wait to the last possible second to establish some things on some of that. Who's going to be starting where? While we have an idea or we have some thought, it's one of those things that we want to see everything we can, and then throw them out there, see if it works, make adjustments, and just kind of keep tweaking it as we go.
Mm-hmm. Can you kind of tell us who's in the mix at some of the spots?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a surprise to know, we've got a senior here that was an all-region player for, and has been here for 4 years. Even though she doesn't feel like, she feels like she has to earn her spot, I think she's definitely in the mix of it. Right now, we're going through some setter transitions, and right now, our senior setter, Lauren, her not playing would kind of not really make much sense. And so I think there's those pieces out there. As far as the rest of the crew, I'm sure that they'd love to know, but I'm just going to kind of keep that under my hat a little bit.
Okay, good.
I think to really kind of speak to the team this year, the talent that coaches brought in and just the work that everyone's put in is unreal. And so I think it's making it incredibly hard for him because there's so much talent on this team. When we first got back and did open gyms, everyone was just like, wow, we were all super rusty and hadn't really even played all summer. And just the fact that we've gone through a week and a half to 2 weeks, I don't know, double days and just intense work, it's going to be so fun and just to see what this team does on the court.
Yeah.
Shaun, how familiar are you with the Frontier Conference? I mean, you maybe have sent some players to the programs in the conference. Are you familiar with everyone and how they go about things?
Yeah, I think everybody in the Frontier has recruited my players when I was at Northwest. So, I'm familiar with the coaching staff throughout the conference. We've even played some of them. I've seen there's a lot of the Region 9 where I came from in the NJCAA. They sent a lot of players up to some of the Frontier Conference schools. So I definitely understand what they're recruiting and what that level looks like. We ended up picking up a Montana kid that all the Montana schools wanted, and so I think we're right there in the mix of understanding what talent level we need to be at on a conference side of things. Of course, there's a national side of things, and I think that that's in due time. Everybody wants what they want now, but right now we need to focus on what's in front of us, and what's in front of us is actually our team and not necessarily the conference. It is the conference, don't get me wrong, but like we alluded to earlier, everybody's new to a degree. This is a brand new group of 17 players playing together and for the first time, and making sure that we're on the same page. And what was it Sun Tzu said, to know thy enemy and not thyself is to only go halfway to battle, right? So that's kind of my philosophy on that.
So is it safe to say it's a little too early to really say what your goals are or expectations at this point, or have you set some?
I think every coach out there wants to win, a conference, go to nationals. I mean, how incredible would that be? Any year, at any level, at any time. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, and the players here want that. I think that it's important that we're not just taking care of this season. I think that we need to, we have 7 seniors this year. It could be very easy for the 7 seniors to come in and say, I want mine before I leave. And the first thing I came in and said was, you're not going to get yours till everybody gets theirs. And it's going to be let's look 3-5 years down the road. What does that look like? Let's not look at just this season, because I'm not looking to build a team. I'm looking to build a program. And that, as fast as I want to make this happen, I know that there are pieces in place. Every year is unique. And I learned that very early on, and I've been excited about years and disappointed. I've been disappointed in the early season and very happy late. I try not to get caught up in what I think we have or what I don't think we have, and just really put our best foot forward with what we have in the moment, and know that there's a larger vision, and it encompasses everything. It's not, it's sure it's winning, but it's also community outreach. It's improving the equipment that we're using. It's, you know, it's the locker room. There's a lot of things here and whatnot. So,
for both you girls, how excited are you to actually be playing matches this weekend instead of playing against one another?
We were actually kind of talking about that today, you know, like, but I think that it's really exciting to get out there, and Coach was bringing up like a big point of nervousness and excitement are the same stimuli in your body. Am I saying that right? But
same feelings.
The same feelings in your body, and so it's like determining, are you nervous or are you excited, and really training your mind to say, you know, I'm excited instead of being nervous. And I'm just super excited to get out and just see all of our hard work show off, and whatever that be. We're really trying to focus on the process more than the outcome. So we're being disciplined, or we're mainly being disciplined, like the outcome and the process of that will kind of speak for itself. And so that's what I'm excited to see.
Last Saturday we had like an inter-squad scrimmage that was super fun and kind of got us all really excited to actually play against some other people and be able to compete. But I mean, just how competitive we keep it in practice when we're scrimmaging, I think it just shows how much more comfortable we're going to be when we actually have an opponent on the other side, because we're able to really get after each other and that sort of thing. So yeah, I think there's a lot of excitement, and yeah, we're ready.